The other.
Now I'm recording. All right,
Yeah.
guys. What up? All right, Bobby's in. Yay. Okay. I'm muting a few of you guys just because if you aren't muted, mute it. And then, because you might not be able to hear me. Just kidding. Get Perry. All right. Hi, guys. We'll get started. We are recording.
Hi, Sara.
Tony. Super excited. People will hop on as we're going and we'll post the recording after. We have a fantastic crew going up to North Carolina, and we have some wonderful slappers that have done the race in the past. We're going to have them chatting in a little bit and sharing their history of the race and their experiences. Some things that I want to go through is mostly just our team timeline. Reminder that the race is Saturday, so check-in is available on Thursday and Friday. Due to the nature of the complicated race logistics, recommended that you check in on Thursday if possible, because Friday you're going to be spending a lot of time dropping your bike off on the other side of town. You're going to be dropping your T2 bag off. So check in on Thursday if you can. That's from 2 to 7 p.m. on Thursday. I've done a tentative team timeline. It's gone up on Facebook. It'll go up in future MailChimps. That we have a team check-in at 4 p.m. on Thursday. That's right before a 5 p.m. Athlete briefing, which we can hit double up on that. It's in the afternoon. I've calculated out that if I leave Central Florida by 6:30 in the morning on Thursday, I can make it there in a 10-hour drive for the 4 p.m. team check-in. Now, I know we have our special all-world athletes that will go into the I'm too special for you line and get their I'm so special number. But for the rest of us, we can go, and I don't mean me because it's not like I'm racing. We can have a group check-in and be racked together, because if we check in as a group, you get a number that is with the team, and then it's a nice commonality transition area with all the other slappers. Not mandatory. Let's clarify, that's not mandatory. So if you're in town and you want to check in with the group at 4 p.m. on Thursday, followed by a hit up an athlete briefing at 5 p.m. on Thursday, then I will be doing a reservation at Mellow Mushroom, which is within walking distance, about 5 minutes from the convention center. They can take a reservation of up to 35 people. I will be, what will I be doing? Oh, you'll have to do an RSVP thing on like Facebook or something. So you'll see that coming. And again, not mandatory. This is Thursday. It's 2 days before the race. If you guys want to get the whole team atmosphere, feel free. Coach Beth has sent me the links to, and I will be sharing the Facebook events that the local tri team does a Thursday morning and a Friday morning practice swim. They're at 7:30 in the morning on both Thursday and Friday this year. They're not at the start, but they're just down the beach from it. You're swimming in the exact same water. You're swimming in the same direction. And Beth said you go about 500 to 1,000 down the edge of the shore or the docks. And then you get out whenever you feel like it. So again, if swimming in salt water is a concern for you, if swimming in the cold water, because again, we're coming from Florida water, if any of these are issues for you, those 7:30 Thursday and Friday course preview swims are a great idea for anybody that wants to do those. So that's our Thursday timeline, super chill, trying to stay just, calm, get everything done. Friday is your busy day, okay? Now, I know a couple people have asked me, what is the freaking logistics of this race with 2 transitions? So if you've done your packet, pick up on Thursday, good, get all your stuff ready. If you haven't, then you need to get it done preferably early on Friday morning, because you have to do two things on Friday related to the race. One, you have to drive over to the other side of Wilmington to T1 to drop your bike off. Now, I've Googled that, and at different times of the day, it's anywhere from 20 to 28 minutes of a drive from the downtown area over to the swim start. So round trip, that's an hour just to drop your bike off. 10 a.m. to 5 p.m., that's open to drop your bike off. So remember, that's usually going to be an hour drive. You also have to do one other thing that's different than normal. You have to pack up your T2 run bag, and you have to hand that off in downtown near the convention center at T2 near the finish line. So on Friday, you will have to go to T1 and T2, mandatory at some point in time between 10 a.m. and 5 p.m. In your run bag, you need to have everything that you would normally put down for T2. That's your run shoes, your socks, your hat, your visor, your number belt, your nutrition belt, your hydration handheld, your sunglasses, your body glide, your snacks, your, I don't know, change of clothes, different shirt. All of those things have to go in that bag, and they have to be dropped off on Friday. Natalie had a good question. Beth, you want to say something? Unmute.
Yeah, so there, you don't really drop it off. You actually have to take the bag and you have to tie it on the transition rack where your number is. So yeah, just minor point.
Good. Just got to be tied up. Okay. Finishing up my timeline because I have 1 minute left on our time. Saturday, you can I have on our timeline the shuttle from downtown to T1, or you can get driven. You can have the shuttle from T1 to the swim start. That you need to take a shuttle, and I believe the ladies will agree to this, is that isn't something that you want to be drive or be driven or dropped off. It can be quite busy and a hassle. Race start at 7:10. Everybody races amazing. Finishes 4:45 are awards. And thanks to the wonderful Holly, we are booking a team dinner, like an official team dinner with a buffet of like ribs and chicken and mashed potatoes and all these good stuff out at the Lazy Pirate Sports Grill and Bar, which is out at the water. So it's seaside. It's wonderful. Information's going to come. We will have a prepayment. Friends, family, it's kid friendly. There's drinks. We're going to actually have, we're going to be like a real team with like real things and have a good party. So that's your timeline. You'll see all that coming soon. We're going to toss it over to Julie, who you're going to have to unmute yourself, Julie. And while you're doing that, Julie is going to talk about swim course and all of the things that she has experienced. Off you go.
Okay. Hi, everybody. So the morning of is a little bit hectic because I did not take the shuttle, but I think I'll be staying near T2, so I will have to take the shuttle in to T1. And you set up your T1 transition area, and then you shuttle from T1 to the swim start. And it is kind of, it's always kind of hectic. I believe they did have bike pumps there, and yes, you can have a bike pump, but you're better off just using someone else's, because unless you're driving or having someone drop you off, then I can't imagine you driving, because it is a hassle to park also. And the shuttle will then take you from T1 to the swim start, and you have to self-seat yourself. And coach suggested that I self-seated myself when I competed in this race, one set faster, and I maybe even could have went one more faster. So it's a fast swim, and it's a really good swim. That was probably my favorite part of the race, was the swim. Getting in, it's a long wait. You take the shuttle and you sit in a parking lot and you wait. So have water, have nutrition, have, you know, at least 2 waters or a drink and water and nutrition for sure. Because I think, ladies, didn't we sit there for an hour or more? And I said we started, you know, I started in the, up front, and I'm not a fast swimmer, so let me see. So yeah, you sit in a parking lot and wait. When you finish the swim, which is okay, when you start the swim, they will tell you don't cut left, don't cut right early because there's a buoy and the current pushes you into it. And so what do? I went into the buoy. So heed what they say. Go start further to the left when you go in, and watch out for the buoy because the current will push you into it. And it is a zigzag, but it's really, really fast. Once you get out though, I think it's a 0.2 run on the boardwalk. So those of you who have really tender feet and want to have that, they'll let you set shoes at the swim exit to get to transition 1. But it was fast, it was fun, and y'all will do great. So my suggestion would be to set yourself a little bit faster than what you think you can do. It will be more than likely wetsuit legal.
Perfect. Beth or Tara, you want to say something about the swim as well?
I do. One thing, it really does help to get there and do the practice swim, even if you don't think you need it, just to feel how swift that current is if you haven't done it before. You really get a sense for it and how extremely salty the water is. It's saltier than the ocean. It's saltier than any water I've ever been in. I don't know why, but it is. And the other thing is, in the morning, when you get there to wait to swim, there's 2 separate areas where you wait to start, and there's like a cutoff of times. So you'll have to kind of find out where that is. It may be like they ask you to estimate to place yourself based on what you would normally do a 1.2 mile swim in, not what you would do the swim in when the current is like 100 miles an hour. So,
All right. So who was that? Julie, go ahead.
I forgot, when you are finished, they are going to have you put all of your stuff in a bag.
Yeah.
So your wets, everything from your T1 has to go into a bag because they will take your bag and take it to T2 or somewhere around T2. So that's your wetsuit,
the finish area,
your goggles, and your
Good. So going back, you've had that 1 run bag that you've tied up in T2 the day before. That you have 1 morning clothes bag, which you've carried over to that hour wait of sitting in that parking lot before the swim. And that can be jackets, that can be socks, that can be an old pair of sneakers. As Coach Sara says, always wear sneakers up until the moment of the race. That morning clothes bag will also get taken back. So anything extra, second set of goggles that you want to bring for yourself or for somebody else, that morning clothes bag will be transported as well. Okay, so 3rd bag Julie just touched on. We'll start with Tara coming into T1 now. Tara, talk us through T1, what you have to do with your stuff, like Julie said, with that 3rd bag, and then heading off on the bike.
Yeah, so in T1, you're going to take everything, your swim gear, and then put it in that bag. Make sure that you put everything in the bag, and then they'll take it over to the exit. So I did this race in 2021, and I've heard that the bike course is a little bit different now. It's shorter, thankfully. It was a little bit long back then. But overall, the biggest thing is that the bike course is flat. There's a couple of bridges, there's some overpasses at the beginning and the end, but it's flat. Of course, my biggest advice on the bike is to do good nutrition. You know, set a timer if you have to, eat, drink continuously. The aid stations are about 15 miles apart, mile 15, 30, and 45. So from transition 1, there's a few turns coming out of town. The first 10 miles are a bit complicated. But then after that, it's pretty straightforward. There are 3 graded bridges on the course. The first one is like within the first mile. The second one is around mile 10 or so. And then there's a third one around mile 55. And that's the same one that you went over mile 1. So don't be nervous on the bridges. They aren't bad. Just be aware, come out of arrow, stay straight, stay, steady on the pedals. There's no passing on the bridges. And actually you could get a penalty or be disqualified if you are in arrow or if you pass on the bridge. So just be mindful of that. The first part of the bike course is on the interstate, and the route goes in the lane that's actually the opposite way that traffic would flow. But it's just for a short period of time. Everything is clearly marked, and there are traffic cones that separate the bikes from the cars. The car traffic was not an issue. It was actually really nice. Not like some courses where cars are all around and, in your way. This one, it was really nice. There's a few turns, and then there's actually a sharp left onto MLK Parkway. Don't be nervous about the turn, just be aware that there's a sharp left, and, just slow down, but it's not really an issue. At around mile 11, you'll make a right turn onto the highway, and then you're in open highway for like a really long time. So it's really nice. It's flat, straight, great road conditions. And then you'll be biking in the countryside, beautiful scenery. It's really pretty. And then the trip back into town is not complicated like it is going out. There is the bridge at mile 55, and then you're back at T2. So it's not bad. So something that I noticed when I did this race, drafting was an issue. There was a lot of drafting going on. So just be aware, there were officials out there, and they did give penalties to people, and I saw, but just slow down. What they do, there's like a big peloton, and they might come in front of you, slow down, and then they regroup, and then they'll speed up. And then just make sure that you have a good distance between the last person in the peloton and yourself, so that you don't get a penalty. And then transition 2 is in a big parking lot by the convention center. Keep in mind, you're going to have 2 transitions, so you'll need to know where your stuff is at both locations. That's really important, because I get lost a lot in my races. So your run bag will be hanging on the transition rack, and that's where you're going to rack your bike. Make sure when you drop off your run bag, when you tie it to the rack, don't tie it so tight so that you have an issue opening it whenever you're there during the race. So you'll need to get your run gear out. So you'll empty out the bag, rack your bike, and then you can put your bike gear in the bag, but it's not required. You don't have to. You can just leave it out and get it whenever you get your bike. And just get ready to run.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Thanks, Tara. So great on the bridges, dangerous, careful. And then it's flat and fast, good. And then, really good point about making sure that you know where your run bag is, because that's an entirely different spot than your bike has ever been. Okay, good. So yeah, so practice where your transition is on Friday, because that's the only time you're in. And just to clarify, you're not allowed into T2 on race morning at all, right, ladies? That's a no. So anything, has to be done on that Friday before. All right. Beth, Julie, bike stuff. Add into what Tara said if you want to chime in here.
I just
Beth?
want to say that I did it 2 years in a row, 21 and 2022, and it was really cool in the morning. And I get cold really easily, but I just kind of tried to bear through it because it gets really hot by the time you get on the run. The weather tends to change very quickly there. And one thing about T2 is they do have the racks lettered. So note what your
Got it.
letter is. So when
Letter.
you go back in, that you can find your place more easily.
By a letter. Okay. All right. And we did have, and we're going to keep Beth unmuted because she's actually going to take on the run talk. But Beth, we had one question. What if I have nutrition that I want to drink in T2 to go running with, but I don't want to have it mixed ahead of time? What's a recommendation?
They do have water there in T2 that you can use. So if you want to just bring your mix and leave it, in the bag.
Or in the bottle that you're going to carry. Yeah.
Right, or in the
Right.
bottle.
Yep.
Right. You
Okay.
can mix it there.
Perfect. So you can mix it as you head out on the run. And I think Tara or Julie had mentioned ahead of time that even if you just had, Frank, nobody wants to see that in the camera. Even if you have a like a water bottle and your drink mix powder in a bottle, you can just head off on the run and make that mix as you're starting the run. Off you go. Yeah. But anything that you leave in T2 is going to be sitting overnight. So, okay, Beth, Tara brought us into T2. She said, don't tie your bag too tight on the rack because you can't get it
Right.
off. You dump it out and here we go.
Yeah. So, yeah, for the run course. So yeah, you already covered that. So basically the run course, they say that it's flat or rolling, and there's a few hills on the course. The first part of the course, you're sort of just coming out of transition and going along like on a wooden plank boardwalk along by the water. And then you go up a pretty steep hill to get to Front Street. And that's like just a long road where it's mostly flat with a little uphill, but it's along railroad tracks. So you've got to be careful about, stepping along there. And then you'll turn up another hill. It's like a long sort of incline. There's a lot of potholes there in the street. So this is all, there's no shade on that part of the course. Like the first 5 miles, there's no shade. And it was really, I had one of my clients that I was coaching fell in a pothole in that area on the way back. So you got to be careful with the footing there. And then once you make the turn to go into the park, you can get there. It is pretty shady and pretty flat there. And there's a lot of spectators. There's bands playing. There's the Red Bull sign, there's all kinds of stuff going on. So that part is kind of fun. You get a lot of support there. And, and then you get to turn around at the halfway point, go back through the park. And then you head back, you go, down that hill that has the potholes. And then I swear, I don't know why, but the last mile of that course seems interminable. Because you just it goes on, and then it turns here and there. And it's like, where is the finish line? Is this ever going to end? Maybe it's just me, but it seemed like it took forever to get to the finish line. So just believe you can't really see it till you're really close to it, and then you can really go. But that last mile is kind of tough, and it can get really, really hot. So
Beth, nothing is as hot as the Florida summer that we're
no, that's true.
I think everyone will be all right. Okay, very cool. Tara, Julie, anything additional run there?
Just that the aid stations are about a mile apart from each other.
Okay, good. So we've got plenty of hydration out there. Julie, any run thoughts from you? Was it good? You're muted. Don't start talking until you unmute.
I thought you muted me.
There you are.
Yeah, so the run was beautiful. There is that big hill in the beginning, which means you get the downhill on the way back because it is one loop. And the park is beautiful. And look for the big gator in the park in the little water. I don't know if he must be a local resident. He must be there all the time. North Carolina, an alligator. But yeah, the park is beautiful and it's shaded and like Beth said, it does get warm.
Do
but-
they have bands playing or just like music on speakers? Band.
Yeah, I think there was, well, one year there was a band
Okay.
playing.
All right.
I don't think the other year there was, but
That's
there's a
fun.
big Red Bull,
Arch thing.
arch and yeah.
All
kinds
right.
of stuff.
All
Yeah.
right, good. Okay. Tara, anything?
So that's a good question. Jennifer just asked for the run, do people mostly rely on the aid stations? I have a hydration belt with me with water, but then I also definitely rely on the aid stations because it's everything there.
Jennifer, that's a discussion for you and your coach because that's an individual thing. But for sure in that heat on those on the day at the end of 70.3, you're going to be wanting to carry some form of hydration so that you have it in between the miles and that you can simply refill as you're hitting the aid stations as well, but sipping on in between. Because the last time, the worst time to want to take a drink is when you're in a half mile mark in between 1 mile. So yeah. So carrying something. If you guys haven't clicked on the chat, feel free to put a question in there. Stephanie said, put a bright piece of colored duct tape on the outside of your run bag when it's hanging on the T2 racks. She said that helps you find your bag real quick. I don't know if I can see that, Stephanie. Okay, there's bags as well. Oh, that's how tight they all are on racks? Wait, that's not a run rack. Unmute yourself. There's no way that rack had bikes on it.
This is the run bag rack.
But not for this race. That's for like an Ironman run rack.
Oh,
Beth?
so they don't hang them because this was Utah did it the same way.
Okay, so there, Stephanie, you're grabbing your bag.
Yeah.
Your bag is where your bike is going. So there's only so many bags on a rack that there's actually going to be bikes coming onto there.
So the bike and the bag are in the same one?
Your bike is going on the rack where you hung your bag.
Oh, okay. So they don't look like this.
Beth, yes, okay. A little, yeah. So Beth has some bikes on racks where they've replaced bags. Yes. So very different from what you might see in an Ironman or a World Championships where you're just grabbing your bag as you go by the massive bags. Yours is hanging where your bike is actually going to go.
Oh,
Yep. So good refresher there. Natalie, do they have ice and good water on the course? Julie, do you remember getting ice all the way through to the end?
Yes.
I didn't remember ice, but the water was fine.
I remember ice. I remember water. It was great the entire time.
Good.
And I think I recall T2, isn't that on a hill?
It's a big
I
parking
think
lot.
Yeah, in a parking lot.
I think it's a hill.
Okay.
So there's that to consider.
All right. I posted a link to a dude that does a 35-minute video of his race last year in North Carolina. And Tarsha says he has a video of what each transition area looks like. Yeah, 35 minutes of this dude talking about his race last year. Like you won't have any questions after watching that thing. Okay. However, he didn't have a fun team dinner afterwards, so that
Right.
was included in the video. All right. Unmute yourself or put your hand up using the hand thing or type a message. Let's do some Q&As. I've got 8 minutes until this thing shuts down. Questions from anybody? Todd doesn't have questions. Tarsha, what do you got? A question? What haven't we gone through? Anything? She watched the video today.
I have something.
Yeah,
Because
Nate.
I was doing some research. They said like if you use chafing stuff, like make sure you have 2 of them if you need one for your run and also one for your bike, because you aren't going to be able to mix them. So that was good advice that I saw today.
Good. Buy another thing of Body Glide. Yeah, absolutely. All right. Yep. Go for it. Richard.
Yeah, can I pump up my tires on Friday then, Friday night?
Well, you can have them at your when you drop your bike off, you can have your tires pumped up, but you will also go into your transition 1 on race morning. You will be able to check your bike, set your transition 1 stuff up, and use the pumps that Ironman provides on race morning as well.
Oh, they provide pumps? I didn't know that.
There's usually a line of pumps along some edge of transition area that Ironman has set out, like 10 or 12 pumps, and you take it to your bike and then you take it back over there.
Oh, great. Okay, that helps. Good
Yep.
to know.
Yep.
Thank you.
Coach Sarah?
Tarsha.
Yes. I think the only question that I had was just trying to understand again that going before the swim in the transition 1 area, where you said someone said something about wearing something extra if it's cold or having an extra pair of shoes. You just drop that off anywhere?
Well, no, you will. So again, you have 3 plastic bags that they give you when you check in, and 1 is your morning clothes bag, and that will go with you all the way up until the swim start. And anything that you put in that morning clothes bag gets transported by Ironman back to the finish. So it won't be stuff that you lose. Beth? Unmute. Beth?
Muted.
There you go. Oh no, now you muted yourself. Beth, you're muted.
It says unmute. Does it say,
Now you are live.
oh,
Morning stuff. What about Tarsha's question?
I think she was asking about the shoes. You can put a pair of shoes by the swim exit.
Okay.
Is that what she was asking?
Or that.
And then, yeah,
Can you?
yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
And
you're putting-
also your morning clothes bag. I didn't use one, but they do have them. You will take that on the shuttle to the swim start,
Who's gonna
and they'll
show
have trucks there. And
transition?
so you'll have to take it to the truck.
Yeah. Just like any 70.3 or Ironman, they have a morning clothes usually, I think.
Right.
All of them do. And before you get into your line at the swim of whatever time you want to be in, you're dropping off your morning clothes bag. Jennifer said, what's everyone wearing? Are you going to pull bike shorts on top of your tri-suit for the bike? Again, definitely good ideas. Everybody does something different. Jesse, are we sure the bike pumps aren't chained to the fence? Okay, the ones I've announced, sometimes they are, sometimes they aren't. Well, Jesse, walk your bike over to the bike pump. The bike moves. Hopefully it moves fast on race day. Move it to where the bike pump is, or move the bike pump to you. Okay. We are college graduates and high school graduates. We can figure this out, guys. All right. 3 minutes. This is your last chance. Do a question or give a piece of advice. I think we went through all the questions. If it's cold, Sue, take socks. Sue, you better have shoes all the way to that swim start. Okay, Amanda, give me a thumbs up. Did we hit everything? Okay. I appreciate you guys. Big thank you to Tara and Julie and Beth for sharing with us here and all the questions that were asked. More information will be coming out in your weekly MailChimp emails, being posted on Facebook. I'll probably be contacting the whole list of everybody individually to get your money for our post-race dinner, because that has to be paid ahead of time. We'll send out the information ahead and everything. Friends, family, kids, again, bring them all. We will talk to you guys all soon. I think we did it in under 40 minutes. I'm so proud of us. Just like the race, faster than we expected. Okay. Good night, you guys. See you soon.